any real estate development project to be successful, there is need for a quality site layout plan. A layout plan is the overall plan of the arrangement, segmentation, and distribution of facilities in an estate. It shows the location of plots, roads, open space, landmarks, and other facilities in an estate. In Ogun State, since Governor Abeokuta came on board, there has been influx of real estate developers into the state. There is therefore the need to enact a law which will modify the mode of operations of these real estate developers so that the land sold out will have a proper layout plan that meets the world-best standard. It is in lieu of this that the Ogun State government, under the auspices of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development and Ogun State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Authority, organized a stakeholders meeting with radio stations operating in the state on advertisement of sale of land. It is also to acquaint the radio stations with some legislations backing the urban and physical planning development that directly impart legitimate activities of media stations. Speaking at the meeting, the Commissioner, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Town Planner Tunji Odunlami says, the essence of the meeting is to draw attention of radio stations to the principal laws that regulate the advertisement of land by private land merchants.
The subject matter of this meeting is what I discussed at different fora, but especially on several radio programs in the last 2 or 3 years. This meeting is therefore convened to draw the attention of a wider number of radio stations and indeed the media in the state to some legislations that directly impact the legitimate activities as media houses. And these pieces of legislations are the Ogun State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law 2022, which is the principal law, and the Ogun State Layout and Land Subdivision Regulations 2022. These are vital pieces of legislation that aim to regulate the advertisement and sale of land, especially by private entities in our state, and thereby affect the activities of the real estate companies. Section 4.1 subsection D10X. The law provides as follows. The ministry shall be responsible for the preparing, approving, reviewing, and implementing the following hierarchies of physical development plans. Local plans, including layouts and subdivision. This government has been governed by the rule of law. We have had the governor, address the public on many occasions. He mentions that this government is anchored on the rule of law. So all we try to do as possible that whatever we do, we are guided by the law. So have the law and the regulation. I'm not going to the regulation. Section 2.1 of the regulation provides that any person, including federal, state, and local governments and their agencies intending to carry out development on any land having an area of 1 hectare and above, that's about 2.5 acres. And above within the state shall apply to the ministry for planning permits to lay out or subdivide land, and it is called layout permit. Section 2.4 of that regulation states further that no person shall advertise for sale, offer for purchase, or develop any land that is 1 hectare and above in size in the state, which does not have a layout permit. To act contrary to these 2 subsections of the regulation constitutes an offense as provided in section 21.1 of the regulation, which says that any person who advertises for sale, offers for purchase, or develops any land in the state that is 1 hectare and above without a layout permit, in accordance with the provisions of this regulation, commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine of 500,000 naira or 6 months imprisonment, or both a fine and imprisonment.
Town Planner Odunlami explained that radio stations must demand photocopy of layout permit from land merchants before placing advert for them on their airspace.
Anytime an estate company gives you an advert for sale of land to air for them on your network of media, you are acting on behalf or at the behest of that company as its agent or consultant or independent contractor. I'm sure they will sign an agreement with them and whatever. We therefore advise you very strongly to demand from the real estate company to see and possibly request to be given colored copy of the layout and layout permit duly granted by Ogun State government, and ensure that it is for the area for which it was approved. Let me tell you, the land is at Marubo, and they give you the layout, but need to ensure that that layout is for the land at Marubo and is not for Olantoku. The importance of this includes promoting orderly development of the state, one estate at a time, ensuring that drainage and waste disposal systems are planned and delineated in the area before construction begins, and ensuring that space is reserved for essential infrastructure activities, including road networks, schools, clinics, police stations, fire stations, water supply, shopping center, playground, and open spaces, among others. You are free. We invite you to confirm your authenticity of such layout from us, and we will gladly oblige you.
The commissioner emphasized the readiness of the ministry to actively monitor and investigate any violation of the law forthwith.
We will be actively monitoring and investigating any violations of this law forthwith, and those found to be in breach will face the penalties prescribed in the law and regulation. It means, therefore, that any radio station or information medium that continues to advertise sale of land for real estate companies after the expiration of the moratorium hereby granted today, without ensuring that they possess the requisite layout permit, is willfully contravening the laws of Ogun State and acting as accomplices to lawlessness in concert with dubious land speculators.
It therefore urged the radio stations and other stakeholders to spread the awareness about Ogun State layouts and law subvention regulations.
It is crucial that all developers and land sellers in Ogun State adhere to the law to ensure orderly and sustainable development of the state. I therefore urge all radio stations and media stakeholders to help us spread the awareness about Ogun State layout and land subdivision regulation 2022 and the consequences of non-compliance with its provisions. I feel with us, so let us work together to create a better future for Ogun State, where physical development is carried out in a responsible and lawful manner.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Engineer Shakiruddin Salam, while welcoming the stakeholders to the meeting, says the aim of the meeting is to solicit the support of the radio stations on issues bordering on the security of citizens with regards to land purchase.
Come and help us sensitize our good citizens on an important issue that affects everyone, the issue of land and land use and development of land. We know that your important role in this respect, we cannot undermine it.
In his remarks, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Strategy, Mr. Waheed Adeshina, says the meeting became essential to sanitize the media space, urging the radio stations to be socially responsible to the protection of consumers as it applies to land purchase and advertisement.
I know that in this business, advert money sustains the radio station. But in all of this, there is still the need for us to be socially responsible. We have to take care, protect the right of the consumer, those who are broadcasting through. which is why we are here today. I want to commend the ministry for organizing this forum, because when you listen to some adverts, particularly with respect to this issue of land sales, you begin to wonder when they begin to tell you this somewhat incredible offer. Bring 5,000 naira, you have your land. You having paid for half, you'll be allowed to start building and all of these things. You'll be given some bags of cement, you'll be given gravel to start building. So you begin to wonder, some of these things, they are very, very attractive. But one begins to wonder, are these things really true? And you know, in Nigeria today, everybody wants to be a home owner, such that if you are not a sensible type, you want to quickly rush. I'm not condemning those who are doing their marketing business, but we need you to sanitize the space, because we know the role that the media play in educating, in informing. Most people believe that I heard that thing on the radio, so it must be true. But if you don't sanitize the space, then a whole lot of rubbish will be aired. So that's why we are here today. The minimum that we need to give to our people is to protect them. When these people bring their stuff, there should be some checks to check that actually what they are claiming is there.
The head of Department Development Matters in the ministry, Town Planner Musliu Adeniyi, rolled out the documents required for granting layout permits.
Write an application letter and address it to the Permanent Secretary, the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, by the registered town planner. And attached to this letter are one, the survey plan, the perimeter survey of the land made by registered surveyor, deed of assignment, deed of agreement, duly stamped by Ogun State Internal Revenue Services, or certified true copy of C of O, or letter of ratification, accommodation, allocation from Bureau of Lands and Survey, or excision notices as it may be applicable. After this, the consultant is expected to attach to the letter of application the land information certificate, also from Bureau of Lands and Survey. This is to certify that the land does not fall within government acquisition or is free from any encumbrances. After this, the evidence of payment of current tax grants by the applicants and the consultants handling the project. And in the case of companies, the tax grants of the two directors is expected to attach to this application. Also to be attached to this application, the soft copy of a layout design, georeference on UTM, and two hard copy of the same provisional layout drawn on A0 paper with plain background on a scale 1 to 1,250, prepared by the registered town planner.
The State Officer, National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, and representatives of the radio stations have this to say.
I agree in all totality with it. You know, what we have done here today is in tandem with what the goals of my own commission is, which is quality broadcasting. Like the idea is, like when you have somebody who comes to advertise in the name of real estate to you, there are certain questions you must ask before accepting the copy or content to be aired on your station. For instance, this person professing to have a land to sell, Is it the rightful owner of the land? Has the person been paying his or her taxes? Then outside that, have there been approval from the government? And there should be a provisional approval for the layout and some other things which governments must stamp before you can say, yes, this land belongs to me and I want to sell it to members of the public. And for us at the National Broadcasting Commission, we say any advert that is going on there, you must know, is it decent? Is it legal? Is it, is it truthful? You don't just accept content or jingles from people because you want to make money. So I think what they have done here today is good, and it is in line with what my commission stands for, which is quality broadcasting. We have our hands full. And like I mentioned there, whilst I was talking, I said even if you want to advertise drugs, there are some requirements before you can, take your advert to a station. For instance, is it NAGDAF approved? Then you don't come on here and make unsubstantiated claims and make claims that should rightly, get the attention of an orthodox medical practitioner. But you see, in some of our stations, we just accept anything that comes. And honestly, it is a running battle we are having with them. Thank God, we are really doing a lot. We are really doing a lot to ensure that our airwaves are sanitized. Not only on these tradomedics, but a lot of other things. Even religious programs. We have a running battle with them. But by His grace, we shall overcome, because our mandate is, quality broadcasting.
I want to appreciate the ministry for this gathering. Number one, because what you don't know is your senior. Now, the stations before now, we base our check on Corporate Affairs Commission certificate. Are you a registered company? You say yes, let's have the evidence of registration. And they give it to us. But we don't know that it's beyond that. As a matter of fact, what has happened today has really helped the genuine realtors, because there will be no room for any fake realtor to go on here and make an advertisement. And this will give the real realtor an opportunity to sell the genuine land to publics. As a radio station, actually we are profit oriented, but despite that, we are conscious of what we want to give out to our people, because we know our brand is known for genuinity and sincerity. So the ministry has really helped us to educate, inform and entertain the public.
It's a very good meeting. At least it's affords us the opportunity of knowing laws and regulations guiding libraries in Ogun State. Either to, as a business outfit, once those clients, they come with the adverts, because we are looking for money, we don't ask for questions, we just take the adverts and then we begin to use them. But now, with the kind of information and the laws that have been given to us by the Commissioner for Fiscal Planning, we know the documents and the materials to ask for before we begin to use such adverts, because it's better for us to protect the public from scammers and land grabbers, people that are out to dupe, and they want to use the radio stations to really deceive the public in making land purchases. So I think it's a very good meeting.
Prior to this, the ministry organized a 2-day training on extant laws and regulations guiding the activities of the ministry at the Obas complex in Okimoso, Abeokuta. Town Planner Tunji Odunlami, who is the commissioner and resource person, says there is need for all staff to be conversant with every aspect of the law guiding their operations.
We have organized this 2-day training to get our officers grounded in the nitty-gritty of their everyday work. You understand that our activities are guided by law and regulations. And over time, we have found out the need to take our officers through every aspect of the law and regulations, so that they can do their job better as provided by those laws and regulations. We expect that at the end of the 2-day training, they will be better equipped to do their duties efficiently and very conscientiously.
ourselves not far of the law, because the law is made both for the maker of the law and for the person that is going to obey the law. So if we are regulators, we have got to make sure that all our activities are guided by those regulations, so that we ourselves seem to be working on the side of the law. We expect them to be better equipped to do their job for the overall better fiscal development of our state.
The acting general manager, Ogun State Planning and Development Permit Authority, Town Planner Itunuoluwa Jolaoluwa, says the training was to acquaint officers with the details of the law as well as its interpretations.
The 2-day training is non-overdue because it has to do with the extant law and the 5 regulations of the ministry and its agencies. And this, the law and the agencies was assented by the governor of the state in 2022. So since then, we want to have had a gathering like this to review, to look at the interpretations, so that everyone will know what we are saying and will be on the same page concerning the law and the regulations, so that whosoever we interpret it among our officers, maybe those in Ogun, will not interpret it differently from those in Abeokuta. We'll be on the same page. And also, we have 3 agencies: Ogun State Planning and Development Permit Authority, Ogun State Building Production and Management Authority, and Ogun State Slum Regeneration Agency. Any of the officers can be moved from one to another. So all of us need to have the full knowledge of the law and the regulation.
Giant strides caught up with some participants at the training, and they expressed their minds on the training.
It has been quite exciting. We have learned all the rudiments about the policies, which has been the operational tools that basically town planners has been using to work across the state. We have learned a lot from the meaning of development permits, the process of development permit, the number of the Honorable Commissioner has really hit the ground running since yesterday. He has taught us a lot that we need to know about the law. As we are returning back to our zone, there's going to be improvement in the delivery of town planning activities and services across the state.
I must confess, the training is very fantastic. I have learned so much about our laws and regulations, and I hope this will be a continuation, because if you look at it, everybody goes to church on Sundays. It's basically for you to continue to learn about what God says, and even on Fridays too we go to Jumat, and for us to be able to learn what we've known, and as a kind of reminder. I want this to be a kind of continuation, retraining, so that it will go a long ways with us. We thank our Honorable Commissioner for this kind of innovations, and may God Almighty continue to be with him.
The training has been so tremendous. We have learned a lot, and we'll keep learning. It has made us realize the new law. We have a lot to gain. We have a lot to do to keep Ogun State going, to keep town planning going. We have a lot to do. So with the training, I've gained a lot, and which I guess other staff too have gained a lot, and will keep learning. We really give it to him and to the other officers, to the GM, the HOD. We really thank them for the program.
With the enactment of laws and regulations guiding the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development and its related agencies in Ogun State, it is evident that the urban renewal agenda of the government will yield good results, as essential services will be provided. Towns and cities will be well planned, more investors will be attracted, and better quality of lives will be provided for the citizenry. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni.
Shigiri